Hello students, welcome to classroom. This is the second class, and in today's class I will be teaching you balancing of chemical equations. In the previous class we have learned about what chemical equations are and about the word equation as well as a skeletal equation. Now moving forward we will be learning balancing of chemical equation. Now this is very important for class 10 students. So you should know how to balance chemical equation, and it is very easy. It is so easy that by the end of the video you will be able to solve how to balance chemical equations. So let us start balancing of chemical equation. Now why do we need to balance chemical equation? So there's a question like, why do we need to balance chemical equation? Maybe it's even there in the textbook, in the question and answers. So we need to balance chemical equation because we have to follow the law of conservation of mass. So there is a law called law of conservation of mass. So following this law of conservation of mass, so following this law, we have to balance chemical equation. The law of conservation of mass says that mass is always conserved. Okay, in any system, mass is always conserved. So following the law of conservation of mass, we have to balance chemical equation, and that is why the need arises to balance chemical equation. So every chemical equations should be balanced. All right. So law of conservation of mass here. So when we talk with respect to chemical equation, we have the reactants. So the number of reactants, the number of atoms in the reactant site, the number of atoms in reactant site, the number of atoms in the reactants should be equal to the number of atoms in the product also. So the number of atoms in the reactant should be always equal to the number of atoms in the product. Okay, so this is why we have to balance chemical equation. Now let us take one example, and from there we will learn how to balance chemical equation. So let's take one example here from the textbook. I'll take the example from the textbook. So there is one chemical equation mentioned in the textbook. It's about iron reacting with water. So gives Fe3O4 plus H2. All right. So let me just keep some room here. Okay. Now, how do we balance chemical equation? Okay, it's very easy. There are only 3 steps that you have to remember. So let me give you the steps first. So the steps are here. Let me write down the steps here. Steps to balance chemical equations. Steps to balance chemical equations. So the first one, let's say 1. So the first one is identify the elements. Identify the elements. You just have to identify the elements. Okay, so identify the elements. That is the first step. Now this is a chemical reaction. This is a reaction. Okay, this is a reaction of iron with water, okay, giving us ferric oxide plus hydrogen gas. So the first step, let us follow the first step, which is to identify the elements. So let us identify the elements. Now it is always good to follow a direction. So follow a direction. Let us move from our left hand side to the right hand side. Remember, this side is the left hand side and this side is the right hand side. All right. So what I will do is I will just draw a wall here, okay, a line here, and then I will be following the first step, which is to identify the elements. So identify the elements. Let us start from here, from our left hand side. So we come across this. Okay, so this is iron. Iron is an element. Okay, iron is one of the elements in the periodic table. So we have identified this. This is iron. So we write the elements first. So write the element. Then we don't write this. Okay, we move to the next. This is a compound. This is a compound. This is water. So here you start identifying the elements. So here So this is hydrogen. So hydrogen, okay, hydrogen is element here. So hydrogen. All right. Then this is oxygen. So this is oxygen. So likewise, we have identified all the elements in the reactant side: iron, hydrogen, and oxygen. Now copy down the same thing here, because the same elements will be found in the product side also. So just copy down, okay, whatever you have found in the reactant side, the same elements will also be there. So you can just copy it down. So we have just completed the first step, which is identify the elements. Now we will do the second step. The second step is count the number of atoms. So count the number of atoms. What do we mean by counting the number of atoms? See, now you will pay attention to these numbers, okay? These numbers are very important. So now you will pay attention to these numbers, okay? Then there may be a question in your mind like, then, so what about this? Okay, we do not see any number here. Well, if we do not see any number here, means it is assumed to be 1. Okay, so there is 1 here. Okay, there is 1 here. Okay, but 1 we usually don't write, so don't write 1. Okay, you just understand that if there is no number here, that means it is 1. Okay, and then very important, this position, okay, this position here you see, okay, this position is called the this position is called the subscript. Okay, subscript. This position is called a subscript. Okay, and then there is another position here. Okay, this is called the superscript. So this will be called the superscript. This is called the superscript. Okay, so just for your understanding, I'm telling you this. Okay, I'll erase this now. So we need to understand these things. So let us count the number of atoms here. So we will start from iron again. Okay, we will always follow this direction. So let's start with iron. So how many atoms of iron do you see? Do you see any number around iron here? No. Okay, we do not see any number around iron. When I ask you, do you see any number, I'm talking about numbers like this. Okay, the numbers in the subscript. Okay, in the subscript position. Subscript. So we do not see any number here. So that means it is 1. Okay, next we go to the hydrogen. So do you see these two? Yes, these two strictly belongs to hydrogen only. Okay, so these two belongs to hydrogen. So let's write here 2. Okay, now what about oxygen? Oxygen, okay, see, look at the subscript position of oxygen. Do you see any number here? No number. Okay, no number here. So I only told you, if you do not see any number, that means it is 1. So it will be 1. Okay, 1. We do not write 1. Okay, now you will not copy down whatever you wrote here there directly. No, here you have to count. Okay, so you count now. So let us start with iron here. So iron, how many irons do you see? Do you see this tree? Yes, this tree belongs to iron. So you write here 3. There are 3 atoms of iron. Next, you have oxygen. Okay, you have oxygen. How many atoms of oxygen do you see? Do you see these 4 here? Yes, this 4 belongs to oxygen only. So you write here 4. All right, then we go to the hydrogen. Do you see the hydrogen here? Yes. So how many atoms of hydrogen do you see? 2. So you write here 2. All right, I hope this is easy. Okay, remember, how do we write these numbers? In order to write these numbers, okay, you have to pay attention to these numbers. Okay, in the at the bottom. Okay, at the bottom. So these numbers are very important. These numbers are what you are counting. You will be counting these numbers. Okay, counting these numbers. Now what you do is the third step is now balance. The third and the final step is balance it. So how do we balance this? Well, have a look. Okay, you see 1 iron here, 3 iron here, 1 atom of iron here, 3 atoms of iron here. This side is lighter, this side is heavier. This has got more iron atoms, this has got less iron atom. this is not balanced. Okay, this is not balanced. It's like this. It's not like balance means it should be of the same level. Okay, but here we find that this is heavier because the number of atoms are more here. So this is not balanced. Those which are not balanced, let's put the X mark here to remember that we have to balance it. Then we go to hydrogen. 2 hydrogen here on the left hand side, 2 hydrogen here on the right hand side. So 2 hydrogen atoms, 2 hydrogen atoms. Balance, isn't it? This is balance. Same number of atoms, so this is balance. Next, we go here. 1 oxygen atom, 4 oxygen atom. 1 oxygen atom, 4 oxygen atom. Balance or imbalance? Correct. This is imbalance. This is imbalance. Only 1 oxygen atom here, 4 oxygen atom here. So this is again imbalance. So we have to balance oxygen also. Alright, so now let us start balancing. So we have to balance iron and oxygen. With whom should I start first? Okay, if you ask me, then what I usually do is I add up. So I'll be adding these numbers like 3 and 4. The total becomes 3 plus 1, sorry, the total becomes 4, and this is 4 plus 1. Okay, I am adding these numbers. 4 plus 1, the number is 5. Okay, and this is 3 plus 1, the number is 4. This is less. So what I do is I will balance iron first. So this side is more. Okay, this side is more. So we do not touch this side. We will only balance this side. So we have 3 atoms here. Already this side is more, isn't it? So if we put any more number here, it becomes bigger and bigger. So let it be. Okay, you focus on this side. Only 1 iron here. We have to make it 3. They have to be same. Okay, so this 1 has to become 3. Okay, so how do I make this 3? Very simple. Now see, you are not supposed to change the formula. What do I mean by this? We are not supposed to change the formula. Means you cannot write anything here, okay, in this position. You are not allowed to write anything here. You cannot be writing numbers like this. No, you cannot. This position, this place is prohibited, okay? So we are not allowed to write anything here. If you write anything here, you are changing the formula. So we do not change the formula. Then where do we write? We are allowed to write here in front of the compound or in front of the element. We are allowed to write here. We are allowed to write here. Okay, so there is a space available for us to fill in with the required number. So remember, 3 iron here. We have more iron atoms in the product side, and we have only 1 here. So we have to make it 3. So how do I make it 3? Just put here 3. Yes or no? Put here 3, and then what happens? Okay, the number of iron has now become 3. So this has become balanced. So 3. Do the correction. I have put here 3. Okay, so there is only 1 element here. So this 3 strictly belongs to iron. Okay, so this 3 belongs to iron. So the number of atoms have now become 3. Okay, so 3 iron, 3 iron. Balanced, na? So this has been balanced. Are you following? Alright. Here, hydrogen is already balanced. Now we go to oxygen. Okay, so 1 oxygen here, 4 oxygen here. So I will not be touching this side because this side is already more. So I'll be touching here only. Okay, I'll be balancing here only. So I have to make it 4 oxygen. So how do I make 4 oxygen? So here there's a space for me to write. So what will I write here? What should I write here? I have to make it 4. So what number should I be writing here? 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You should be writing here 4. Okay, so by writing here 4, what happened? This 4 belongs to oxygen. So this becomes 4. So the number of oxygen has now become 4. Okay, has become 4. Okay, now, but by writing 4 here, since this is a compound and there are 2 elements here, hydrogen and oxygen, they are together. So this 4 will affect hydrogen also. So this 4 will change the number of hydrogen atom also. So how will it change? Now this will multiply, okay, and become 4 into 2. 4 2s are 8. So this becomes 8. So the number of hydrogen atoms have shot up. Okay, so 4 2s are 8. Okay, you can also understand this like this. Okay, whenever we write any number here, okay, whenever we write any number here, this number will multiply with the subscript. So here there was no number here, isn't it? Okay, there was no number here. If no number means 1. So basically it's 4 times 1. So 4 into 1. 4 into 1 gives you what? 4. So oxygen will be still 4. Okay, 4 into 1 is 4. so oxygen number is 4. Similarly, there is 2 here. Hydrogen already has 2 atoms with him, so this 4, when it multiplies with 2, 4 2s are 8. The number of hydrogen atoms increases to 8. So we have to do the correction. So now, though oxygen has balanced itself, the hydrogen, which was previously balanced, has now become imbalanced. Are you following? So now we have to balance hydrogen also. So let's balance hydrogen. So we have 8 hydrogen here. We have only 2 hydrogen here. So which side do I balance? This side already more. Okay, so this side is less. So let's balance this side. Okay, let's put a number this side. So go to hydrogen. Where is hydrogen? Do you see hydrogen here? Yes. Hydrogen is an element here. It's all by himself. Now this will be easy to balance because he is all by himself. Nah? So you have 2 hydrogen here. You have 2 hydrogen here. Remember the formula that this number will multiply with the number that you write here. So you have only 2. So what multiplied with 2 will give us 8. So what number multiplied with 2 will give you 8? The answer is 4. So you have to write here 4. So you write here 4. So 4 times 2. 4 times 2. 4 times 2. No? 4 times 2. 4 2s are 8. Okay, so this number will now change to 8. So now have a look. You have 3 iron, you have 3 iron. You have 8 hydrogen, you have 8 hydrogen. You have 4 oxygen, you have 4 oxygen. Balance or not? Balance. So this equation is finally balanced. So the balanced chemical equation is 3Fe, 4H2O, Fe3O4 plus 4H2. Okay, so the balanced chemical equation is, we can rewrite the equation as 3Fe, okay, plus 4H2O, okay, then this is Fe3O4 plus 4H2. So this is the balanced chemical equation. Easy, isn't it? Okay, so let us do one more question. Now I want you to open your textbook. We'll be doing questions from your textbook now. Okay, so exercise, there are many questions given in your textbook, so we'll be solving those exercises one by one. So let us go to your textbook now. I have your textbook with me here, so let me just have a look. Okay, so question number 6. Okay, we'll be doing question number 6A. Question number 6A. So let's try question number 6A. Okay, the question is HNO3. So HNO3. Let me write a little bigger here. HNO3 plus Ca bracket OH2. CaNO3 bracket close 2 plus H2O. Now you must have seen that I am keeping a space here. Okay, keep a space here because then you will be adding numbers here. Okay, in order to balance, you are allowed to write numbers here only. Okay, you are not supposed to write anything in these positions. Okay, you are not supposed to write anything here. If you write anything here, you are changing the formula. So we are not supposed to change the formula, so we won't be writing anything here. If at all you have to write, we will be writing here. Okay, so balancing of chemical equation requires you to write numbers here. Okay, so you are allowed to write in these positions, okay, and nowhere else. So the formula, the steps will remain the same. Steps to balance chemical equation will remain the same. So we have these 3 steps to follow. So let's start one by one. So you know the drill now. Make a line. The first step is to identify the elements. So identify the elements. We will go from this side, from left hand side to right hand side. So this is a compound. Okay, this is a compound. So the first element here I see is hydrogen. Okay, hydrogen is an element. So hydrogen. Then we move ahead, and then this N. Okay, N is another element. So N is another element. Okay, then this is oxygen again. So oxygen. Okay, then we move ahead, then we come across this. Remember, okay, C, capital C and small letter A. This is the symbol for the element calcium. So here, students, you need to be familiar with the symbols of the first 40 elements. Okay, remember in the first video I have already told you that you have to remember the names and the symbols of the first 40 elements. So without knowing those symbols, it will be confusing for you. So if you really want to learn, then my suggestion will be study the names as well as the symbols of the first 40 elements, because all the questions in your textbook will be within those elements only. So this is okay. Don't make the mistake of writing capital A and small letter. Don't make the mistake of separating these two. No, they are together. Okay, this is calcium, so you have to write here calcium. Okay, this is calcium. Okay, then we come across this oxygen, but oxygen has been already written here, so we don't write. Okay, we don't write again. Then this is hydrogen. Again, hydrogen has already been written, so we are not going to write again. Okay, we are only going to write once. Okay, we don't write them again and again. Okay, once written is enough. Now these same elements will be found here, so copy down the same thing what you got. Okay, you can just copy down straight away, because whatever elements you have found in the reactant side, the same elements will also be found in the product side. Now step 1 is done. Now we go to the step 2. Count the number of atoms. So let's count. So let's count here. Now let's start with hydrogen here. How many hydrogens here? We see 1 here. Okay, see, I told you earlier also that you have to be looking at the number below here. You don't see any number. If you don't see any number, means there is only 1. Okay, so 1 hydrogen here. But we also have, see, we have to look at the entire reactant. Okay, so the entire reactant, so we have to look at this whole thing. Okay, we have to look at the entire reactant. So I have 1 hydrogen here, and I also see another hydrogen here. Okay, so I have 1 hydrogen here. Now how many hydrogens are here in this compound, calcium hydroxide? How many hydrogens are there? Do you see these 2 or not? Do you see these 2 or not? Yes, remember this class that these 2 belongs to hydrogen as well as oxygen. Okay, remember this 2 belongs to hydrogen as well as oxygen. Okay, you can also remember it like this. Okay, so known number, that means 1. Known number, that means 1. So later on we will be multiplying these numbers. So we have 1 hydrogen here, 1 plus 2 ones are, okay, 2 ones are, because I see 2 now, so bracket means multiplication, so 2 ones are 2. So we have 2 hydrogen here plus 1 hydrogen. 2 hydrogen from here plus 1 hydrogen becomes how much? 3 hydrogen. Okay, so there are 3 hydrogen here. Next we go to nitrogen. Nitrogen, I see 1 nitrogen here. I do not see any nitrogen here. Okay, I do not see any nitrogen here. Okay, we are focusing on the reactant side. Do not go to the product side, that we will do later. So I see 1 nitrogen here and I don't see any nitrogen here. So 1 nitrogen, just write 1. Okay, next now it's time for oxygen. So we have 3 oxygen here. We have 3 oxygen here. And how many oxygen do we have here? Do you see this oxygen or not? Yes, but this oxygen is bounded by a bracket. Outside the bracket you have 2. Okay, so these 2 will multiply with oxygen. I have written here 1. Okay, 1. So 2 ones are 2. So 2 oxygen here plus 3 oxygen here. 3 plus 2, the number amounts to 5. So there are 5 oxygen here. Okay, now we have calcium. How many calcium atoms here? Only 1. Okay, no number is not. We do not say anything here. Nothing means 1. So this is 1 calcium. Okay, you don't need to write this. You don't need to write this. You don't need to write this. Okay, we don't need to write this. You have to understand that it's always 1. Okay, if you do not see any number here, it is 1. That is the reason why we're writing 1 for nitrogen, is not. I do not see any number here, but I know it is 1. Okay, now we go to the product side. Now let's start with hydrogen. How many hydrogens do we see here? I see hydrogen here and there is no hydrogen here. So we have hydrogen here. How many hydrogens do you see here? 2. These 2 belongs to hydrogen and hydrogen only. Okay, these 2 belongs to hydrogen. So we have 2 hydrogen here. So you'll have to write here 2. Next we have nitrogen. How many nitrogen do we see here? Do you see this nitrogen? Yes. Okay, we have this nitrogen here. Now below the nitrogen there is no number. That means it's assumed to be 1. Okay, now nitrogen, both nitrogen and oxygen are bound by a bracket, and outside the bracket you have these 2. Now this 2 belongs to both oxygen as well as nitrogen. So what will happen? 2 will multiply with n. So 2 ones are 2. So we have 2 nitrogen. 2 into 1, 2. So 2 nitrogen, because these 2 belongs to nitrogen. This 2 belongs to oxygen also. So 2 ones are 2. And no other nitrogen. We don't see any nitrogen here. So 2 ones are 2. So there are 2 nitrogen here. Next, oxygen. So how many oxygen here? Count the number of oxygen here. Well, from here, how many oxygens are we getting? Do you see this 3? This 3 belongs to oxygen only, and outside the bracket we have 2. This 2 belongs to oxygen also, so it will be multiplication between 3 and 2. So 3 into 2, 3 2s are 6. So you are getting 6 oxygen from here. Plus, you have another oxygen here. Okay, how many oxygen do you see here? We don't see any number below, isn't it? That means 1. So there is 1 oxygen. So 3 2s are 6. 6 plus 1, how much? 7. So you are getting 7 oxygen here. Okay, next, calcium. How many calcium do we see here? We have only 1 calcium here. No number here, that means 1. So 1 calcium. So 1 calcium here. Now have a look. Have a look at this. Now we have 3 hydrogen, we have 2 hydrogen. Are they balanced? No, they are not balanced. So put an X mark to remember later. We have 1 nitrogen here, we have 2 nitrogen here. Are they balanced? No. So even nitrogen is not balanced. Okay, we have 5 oxygen here, we have 7 oxygen here. Are they balanced? No. Okay, they are not balanced again. We have 1 calcium and 1 calcium. They are balanced? Yes. So only calcium is balanced. Okay, no need to worry. We will gradually balance all of them. So now let's balance them. So with whom should I start? So I will start with nitrogen, because the sum will be small. 2 plus 1, 3. This is 3 plus 2, 5. This is 7 plus 5. The number is more, isn't it? So let us start with nitrogen. Okay, so 2 nitrogen here, 1 nitrogen here. Okay, 1 nitrogen this side, already 2 that side. So which side should I balance? I should balance on the left hand side. I should be balancing on this side. Okay, on this side. So I will be balancing on this side. So nitrogen is here. I see nitrogen here. Okay, so I should make it 2 nitrogen. Okay, so there is only 1 nitrogen here. How do I make 2? So I only told you in the previous question that you can put a number here. You are allowed to write a number here, okay, and nowhere else. So there is a space for you to write a number here. So we have to get 2 nitrogen, because 2 here, isn't it? 2 here. So we have to change this to 2. So how do I get 2 nitrogen here? Just put here 2. So by putting 2 here, the number of the atoms of hydrogen has now changed to 2. So now this is no more 1, because you have already put there 2. So this becomes 2. Okay. Now do not be in a hurry. Remember, putting here 2, okay, will affect all of this. Okay, will affect hydrogen also, will affect oxygen also. So first of all, do the correction, then you proceed. Okay, do gradually, do slowly. Okay, do not hurry. So these 2 belongs to nitrogen. We have already utilized that. So 2 belongs to nitrogen. So 2 nitrogen, we have done the correction. Now this 2 will also affect the number of hydrogen. So we have 2 hydrogen now. These 2 belongs to hydrogen also. Okay, remember class, whatever number we write here, it belongs to the entire compound. Okay, to all the elements in the compound, this number belongs to them. So we have 2 hydrogen now. Okay, these 2 belongs to hydrogen also. So 2 hydrogen here, 2 hydrogen from here, plus how many hydrogen we have? We will have 2, isn't it? So we have 2 here and we have 2 here now. So 2 hydrogen plus 2 hydrogen gives you 4 hydrogen. So the number has now shot to 4 hydrogen. Okay, 4 hydrogen. Then oxygen. So these 2 belongs to oxygen also. So for oxygen, there will be multiplication, because oxygen is already having 3 atoms here. So it will be 3 times 2. 3 times 2, 6. So the number of oxygen here becomes 6. Then we have oxygen here also. So 6 from here plus how much? 2. 2 ones are 2, na? So 2 plus 6. 6 plus 2, 8. So the number of oxygen has become now 8. So the number of oxygen has shot up to 8. Okay. Now nitrogen has been balanced. Next, what we do is, now let us go and balance hydrogen. Okay, hydrogen. So let's balance hydrogen. So 4 hydrogen here, 2 hydrogen. This, it's already more here. So let us balance this side. So let us balance the hydrogen. So 4 here, 2 here. So I should make it 4 this side also. So I see hydrogen here. Okay, now I can write a number here. So already 2 hydrogen here. What number should I write here so that the number becomes 4? Okay, so that number becomes 4. So we should be writing 2 here. By writing there 2, what happens? 2 times 2 becomes 4. So the number of hydrogen atom has now become 4. Okay, but remember, this 2 will affect oxygen also, isn't it? Will affect oxygen also. So now let's count the number of oxygen here. So how many oxygen here? Since these 2 also belongs to oxygen, now 2 ones are 2. So we have 2 oxygen plus 3 2s are 6. So here we have 6 oxygen. So 3 2s are 6. 6 plus 2. 6 plus 2 how much? 8. So the number of oxygen has become 8. So now oxygen number has become 8. Okay, now have a look. 4 hydrogen, balance. 2 nitrogen, balance. 8 oxygen, balance. Calcium was already balanced from before. So all the elements have been balanced. So the balanced chemical equation, we can rewrite this as 2HNO3 plus, well, we don't have to write anything here. Then here also we did not write anything here. NO3 2. Then here we wrote 2 H2O. So the numbers that you wrote are 2 here and another 2 here. All right. See, it's easy, isn't it? It's easy. Okay. Now let's do the next question. Question number B. Okay. A is done. Now let's go to question number B. Like I said, balancing of chemical equation is not difficult. It's easy. Okay. It is easy. It is not difficult at all. Initially, it may take some time, but then once you get the idea, you will remember it throughout your life. Okay. So now let's do the next question. The next question, let's do the question number B. So question number B now. A is already done. So let's do question number B. So NaOH, NaOH plus H2SO4, H2SO4 gives Na2SO4. Or let's keep some space here. Na2SO4 plus H2O. H2O. So always remember to keep some space here because we are going to write numbers now. If at all we have to balance, we will be writing the numbers here. Okay. Now we know the drill. So make a line. Step 1. Identify the elements. So identify the elements. Always start from the reactant side, from the left hand side. So the first element has been identified to be sodium. Okay. Sodium. This is sodium element, okay, having atomic number 11. So this is sodium. So identify and write the element, the symbol of the element, sodium. So sodium. Then we move ahead and we encounter oxygen. So this is the next element, oxygen. Then moving forward, we encounter hydrogen. So hydrogen has been encountered. Okay. Then we move forward and then we encounter hydrogen, but hydrogen has already been written, so we will not rewrite again. Then we move forward and then we encounter sulfur. So sulfur is here, sulfur. Then again we encounter oxygen, but oxygen has already been written, so we will not be writing them again. Okay, only one time we will write. Though they may be found, we will do not write them twice. Okay, one will do. Now what will you write here? I only told you whatever elements you got here, just write the same here because the same elements will be found here also. So you just copy paste that, whatever you got. So sodium, oxygen, hydrogen and sulfur. All right. So we are done with the first step. Now we go to the second step. Count the number of atoms. So count the number of atoms. So again, we'll start from here. So do you see any number below sodium? No. No number means, what do we write? Correct, 1. Okay, so we write 1. So 1 sodium atom. All right, see, you are able to do now. Then oxygen, we come to oxygen here. So how many oxygen atoms are here in this compound? Do you see any number here? No. That means how many? Yes, 1 here. But wait, we have oxygen this side also, no? While counting the number of atoms, we have to consider the entire reactant side. So we have 1 oxygen here, and do you see this 4? This 4 belongs to oxygen, okay? So we have 4 oxygen here plus 1 here. How much is the total now? 5. So the number of oxygen here is 5 oxygen. Are you following? Yes. Then we move forward, and then let us now count the number of hydrogen atoms. So how many hydrogens here? 1. Then how many hydrogens here? 2. 2 plus 1 gives you 3. So we have 3 hydrogen. Okay, done. Then we have sulfur atom to count. So we go to sulfur. Do you see any number below sulfur? No. No means 1. So there is only 1 sulfur atom. Alright? See, it's easy, na? Next, we go to the product side. Now we have to count, okay? Do not just copy down whatever number you got there. No, we have to count because the numbers are different. So let us start with sodium. How many sodium do you see here? Do you see these 2? These 2 belongs to sodium. So there are 2 sodium atoms here. Alright. Then sulfur. How many sulfur do you see? We have only 1 sulfur here. So sulfur atom is 1. Alright. Then how many oxygen do we see here? We see 4 oxygen here. 4 oxygen atom plus how many here? 1. Okay, 1. 1 plus 4. How much? 5. The total is 5. Then hydrogen. Let us count the number of hydrogen. How many hydrogen do we see here? 2. I see only 2 hydrogen. Only 2 hydrogen. Okay, 2 hydrogen. So there is no hydrogen here. Only one. The only hydrogen I see here is here. I see is here. So 2 hydrogen. So just write 2 here. Okay. Now we will go to the step 3, which is to balance. So before we balance, let us have a look and know which needs balancing and which does not. So sodium, we have 1 sodium here. We have 2 sodium on the product side. This side is more. Okay, this side is more. This side is less. The reactant side has less sodium. The product side has more sodium. So this is balance or imbalance? This is imbalance. This is imbalance. So we will have to balance that. Now we go to oxygen. We have 5 oxygen atoms here. We have 5 oxygen atoms here. Balance or imbalance? Balance. So correct, it's a balance. Then we have 3 hydrogen atoms here. We have 2 hydrogen atoms here. Are they balanced or imbalanced? Yes, they are not balanced. They are imbalanced, so we have to balance them. Then 1 sulfur here, 1 sulfur here. Okay, 1 kg of sulfur, 1 kg of sulfur. Balance, isn't it? So this is balance. Okay, so we need to balance sodium and hydrogen. So which one should I balance first? I will go with sodium. Okay, let's balance sodium. So already the number is more on the product side. So focus on the reactant side because this side the number is less. Our goal is to change this 1 to 2. Okay, so what do I do? Here, there is a space for me to write. Okay, so I can write here. Okay, I can write here. Remember, again and again, I'm telling you, you can only write a number here and nowhere else. Okay, you can write a number here. If at all you have to balance here, you can write a number here. You can write a number here. You can write a number here. Before the compound, before the compound, before the compound, before the compound. Okay, you are supposed to write numbers here only. This is the only available position for us to write. Okay, not here, not here. Okay, now we will start with sodium. So 2 sodium here, 1 sodium here. Let's balance it. So what number do I write here so that the number of sodium becomes 2 here? The answer is 2. Just add 2 here. Just write 2 here. By writing 2 here, okay, sodium number has changed to 2. So this becomes 2. So sodium is now balanced. Sodium is now balanced. Now, but remember that these 2, okay, by writing 2 here, this 2 belongs not only to sodium, but this 2 belongs to oxygen also. This 2 belongs to hydrogen also. So the number of oxygen and hydrogen will be affected. Okay, oxygen, as we know, was already balanced, but now because of these 2, the number will change. So let us do the correction first. So now this 2 belongs to oxygen also. So the number of oxygen has now become 2. So we have 2 oxygen here plus 4. 4 plus 2, 6. So now this has changed to 6, making oxygen imbalance now. Alright, so now it becomes imbalance. Next, this 2 changes the number of atom for hydrogen also. So now 2 hydrogen here plus 2 hydrogen. So 2 hydrogen plus 2 hydrogen becomes 4. So the number of hydrogen has shot up to 4. Okay. Now Now let us have a look. We have already done the necessary correction. Now let us have a look. Now on observation, I find that oxygen and hydrogen are not balanced. So whom should I balance first? Well, I'll go with the smaller total. So 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 5 is 11. So let's go with hydrogen. Okay. So we have 4 hydrogen here. We have 2 hydrogen here. So let's balance this. So 4 hydrogen, 2 hydrogen. This side is more, this side is less. So let's balance this side. So let us work on this side. So the number is 4. We have 2 hydrogen here. Hydrogen is found here. So I have to make it 4. So what numbers do I write here? So that on multiplying with these 2, the number will become 4. So we already have 2 here. So 2 times 2, you have to write 2 here. 2 times 2 becomes 4. So now the number becomes 4. So hydrogen is now finally balanced. Okay. But wait, these 2 will also affect the number of oxygen here. So these 2 belongs to hydrogen, no doubt. But these 2 also belongs to oxygen. Okay. We know that without any number also, if no number is there, it's 1 only. So 2 1s are 2, just like 2 2s are 4, just like the number of hydrogen becomes 4. Similarly, no number here means 1, so 2 1s are 2. So oxygen number for this becomes 2. So 2 oxygen here plus 4 oxygen here. So 4 plus 2, how much? 4 plus 2, how much? 6. So the number of oxygen has now changed to 6. Okay. So that makes oxygen also balanced. So everything is balanced now. Okay. 2 sodium, 2 sodium. 6 oxygen, 6 oxygen. 4 hydrogen, 4 hydrogen. 1 sulfur, 1 sulfur. So they are all balanced. So the balanced chemical equation is this. Okay. The balanced chemical equation is 2NaOH plus H2SO4, and this is Na2SO4 plus 2H2O. So this is the balanced chemical equation. Okay. So we will continue with the remaining questions in the next video. So I hope you all understood. Thank you.